So what happens when you move states, build a house, have a baby, and lie to yourself that you can use a debit card and not pull out cash and you'll still stay within budget? Debt. Debt is what happens. At least that's what happened to us. And we are here to get out of it. So before we get going, if you wouldn't mind just hitting that like button, pressing subscribe, and leaving a comment with any questions or comments that you have about budgeting. We're here to help you. Let's get to it. Okay, let me start off by saying I'm not the most proud right now. We are back in debt, which is not where we wanted to be, but it's okay. We've gotten out of it before. We're not far into debt. It's just a little bit of credit cards, but definitely not something that we're super happy about, but we'll get out of it. It's gonna be no big deal. We just gotta buckle down and get through. So what you're gonna wanna do first is download your bank statements. If you haven't been paying in cash like we haven't, which is what led us back down into debt, download the bank statements, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna highlight like categories. So for instance, like groceries, go through and highlight anytime that you went to the market, date nights, if you went out to restaurants, as well as all of our bills. So you just wanna go through and mark when your bills are coming out, what day, how much. So anything that's reoccurring bills, mark those as well as a different color. I downloaded mine in Excel, so I just filled in the different colors. I didn't actually highlight because I don't have a printer right now because it is in storage. We have been spending on debit cards, credit card. We've been swiping. We have not been handing over cash. So unfortunately, the numbers I'm not proud of, what we used to spend on groceries. I know that there's been inflation, I know that there's been a lot, but just seeing what we used to spend on groceries and what we spent this month, just to give you an idea. I used to have a budget for $300 every 2 weeks, so $600. Mind you, that was just me and my husband. That was before we had our daughter, and formula is really expensive. There's a lot of excuses, but for how much we spent last month, okay, I'm just gonna say it. We spent over $1,500 at the grocery store last month. Kind of disgusted. So I'm not gonna do anything drastic this month because I don't want us to fail. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna budget according to what we spent last month, as well as cut just very minimally in certain spots. And then I'm gonna have my own savings challenge with the cash to try and save $200 from that, so I can slowly start cutting it down. So I know this is not the Papa Dave of beans and rice, rice and beans. It's just, if I did that, we would fail completely. We're just in a very limbo spot right now. There's a lot of stress, but we're gonna get through, and we're not gonna let that be the reason that we're not getting out of debt. We're just not gonna go as aggressive as we have in the past. So like I said, we're gonna go based on what our budget was last month, cut it just slightly in certain spots, and then we're gonna go from there. So what you're first gonna wanna do is fill out the days. Do you want it to start on Sunday? Do you want to start on Monday? Whatever day you want. And then we're going to fill out the actual dates for the month. Gonna use the stickers from the Budget Mom for this. Well, that's not helping the voiceover. Next, what you're gonna wanna do is mark your paydays, and you're gonna put how much you get on each of those paydays. So I get paid the 1st and the 15th every month, and I'm gonna write in how much I get paid during those paydays. And now you're gonna go through your bank statement, and you're gonna write down all your bills, what day they come out, what it is coming out, and how much is coming out. So for example, on the 2nd, I have $15 from Apple coming out. It's for my iCloud. So you're just gonna go through, write all that. Next is a fun part. We're gonna get to highlighting. I'm gonna use 2 different colors for each of the paydays. So for the first payday, I'm gonna highlight that in this pink color. I'm then gonna go through and highlight which bills will come out of that paycheck. So for me, it is anything before the 15th is gonna come out of that one. The next highlighter that I'm gonna use is the blue, and that I'm gonna use to highlight anything between the 15th and the 30th. Now, sometimes there are bills like rent that you might split the two paychecks. So I might need some to come out of that blue one and then some to come out of the next month. That's something that I can explain in a future video. And finally, I'm just gonna put in big days for us. So we have our anniversary this month, very exciting, which is why I'm gonna put a little bit extra in the date night column so we can go out for a good dinner for our anniversary and Thanksgiving. Now, let's get to it. So first in, we're gonna put on the paycheck. It comes out November 1st. I'm gonna write at the top how much that paycheck is gonna be. And then I'm gonna start filling in all the bills. So I'll keep referencing back to the month view and write in every bill that's going to come out for that month and how much will come out from it. You'll notice that there's a budget and an actual category. So the budget's where I'm gonna put these numbers, and then the actual is where I'm going to, as they come out, write in how much actually came out for that bill. Most mine are pretty standard, they don't really fluctuate. But like if you have electric bill, water bill, sometimes those can be a little different. So you just kind of put in the budget what you think it's gonna be. I always budget high just so there's a little bit extra in there. Other thing that you'll notice that I'm budgeting is the cushion. I like to keep just extra money in the checking account just in case something comes out or I need cash. My goal is to just have $1,000 in that checking account at all times. So I'm putting a cushion of $150. That just means that I'm not pulling that out for cash. I'm not using it. That's dedicated for the cushion and it just stays in the checking account. So let's add up all the bills and we will take that total and deduct it from how much income we have and see how much we have left over. So it's a total of $597. And we're going to subtract that from the $2,920 of the income. And we get $2,323. So the next budgeting category is expenses. So this is going to be gas, CVS, date, groceries, lunch, and our baby girl. Again, these are going to be very high compared to what I have done in the past. And that's only because we're really out of practice and I don't want to set us up to fail our first month. I want us to succeed, and I'm gonna do savings challenges for myself, and my husband will as well, for us to try and cut that down that way instead of just not having the cash and kind of panicking and spending money that we shouldn't be spending. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add up all of our envelope categories. So we have groceries 500, gas 250, lunch 80, date 300, because again, it's our anniversary this month, CVS 100, fun 200, and baby girl 200. That formula is no joke, you guys. It is expensive, and I can't believe how much we spend on that every month. So we add those together, and we will get $1,630. It's a little hard to say that out loud because it used to be $800. So we've kind of doubled it, but like I said, we're giving ourselves grace this month as we figure out how we can tighten up our budget, and we want to succeed. We don't want to mess this up month one. So we're going to take that $1,630, subtract it from the $2,323 left over after we paid our bills, and we're going to go to sinking funds. Sinking funds I usually want to do when we're paying off debt, but we do have Christmas coming up. We don't have anything saved for it, so let's just be realistic. We're gonna buy stuff for Christmas, so let's put some money aside for it. Putting $200 in there. When you subtract the 200 from 693, you're gonna get 493. And then I'm gonna take the rest of that and I'm gonna use it for the credit card. So 493 extra is going on the credit card this month. Is it as much as I'd like to put a dent in it? No. But like I said, it's all about making this realistic for us and making it so we actually stick to the budget and we don't just fail and go back to credit cards. So give yourself grace. It doesn't have to be the crazy budget on your first try. Just start with what you think is realistic, and then you're gonna slowly chip away at that. From there, we're gonna go into our cash envelope breakdown sheet, which is where you write in all the categories that you're gonna pull out cash for, and we're gonna break down the denominations that we need for that. So for example, groceries, we're gonna pull out $500. So I'm gonna do 4 and 100, 2 and 50s. I like to pull out more higher denomination bills because I find those harder to hand over. So I tend to save them a little bit better. So like handing over 100 instead of a 20 is a little bit harder to do. And I'm like, oh, do I really want to spend that? I don't really want to break the 100. So that's what I do. Also, I'm breaking these up where my husband's gonna get a portion of it, I'm gonna get a portion of it. Groceries, we're gonna split 50-50, so we'll each get $2.50. Gas, he's gonna get a bit more because he drives to work and I work from home. The same thing for lunch, same reason, since he drives to work, he actually eats out sometimes, whereas I have leftovers. Again, that's a category that we maybe can like cut back on in the future, but for now, setting us up to win. So I'm just gonna add all these up, make sure that it all equals the same, because every now and then I do mess up and I'll have a different number for the totals. So just add them up, make sure that the totals equal each other. In the money thought section, I'm actually gonna put a challenge for myself. I wanna try and save 200 of the cash that I pulled out. Again, I'm trying to cut my costs, but do it in a way that's realistic. So I wanna have the money just in case, but I'm gonna challenge myself to not spend it. So now what you're gonna do is in the back of the month, it has the bank teller slips, which are great. So you just take all those totals, so of the amount of ones you need, 5s, 20s, 50s, 100s, you total all those up, put how much the denomination is, and then you just hand that right to the bank teller, so they know exactly what bills you want. I have gotten a few bank tellers that are like, what the heck is this? I don't understand, and I'll explain it to them, and then they're like, oh, this is so cool. So that's what those bank teller slips are for. And that, my friends, is our November budget for the 1st through the 15th. We'll do the 15th through the 30th a little bit later. Usually I do them both together. However, since I'm giving us a lot of buffer, I want to see how much we are able to save and where I can tighten up our budget a little bit more. So in this first month or two, we're gonna be keeping it a little bit looser on us, not making it super tight, but I'm gonna be finessing it as we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. In the next video, we'll be stuffing all the cash that we got, so that's always fun. See you soon.